All right, we were muted there.
Hi, Ryan. How are you today?
Hey, Philip. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, to the Endless Leads Challenge. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today. We're really excited to get started here. It's been a long time coming, and thanks for being here.
Endless leads, right? What does endless leads mean? I see all these bright, shiny, happy faces from all over the country chiming in as to where they live. Guys, we're going to talk about a lead source today that works in all of those markets. It's this lead source only works in areas where people are getting older. And we say that tongue in cheek because we know full well that this nation is aging, and the baby boomers and their parents, the flashpoint of when they need to sell the home was actually the moment that they move into senior living. And so Mom's House is a company that's a lead aggregator. We're going to teach you guys my best kept secret. I've been doing this real estate thing for 24 years now, but for the past 12 years, I've been working in senior living. And it's truly my best kept secret. For the next 3 days, we're going to spend with each other. I'm going to share with you what it takes to work in this. This is a lead source that's right for a lot of you and not right at all for some of you. And we say that lovingly because the senior living industry is the hugs and kisses business. It's the empathy business. And if you're too transactional, you will not have the success that you're looking for. And so we're looking for the people with the right heart condition to work with us here at Mom's House. And so the Endless Leads Summer Challenge, here we are past the holiday, and we're going into summer. Today is my kid's last day of school, and we're going into summer, right? And who doesn't love summertime? And so we're having this challenge to show you guys a way that you can feed yourself for not just today, but for the next 20 plus years. This wave of baby boomers is here. It's truly an endless lead supply if you do it the right way. So I'm excited to be here with Mr. Ryan. He works with me on these challenges to try to go out and share with the world what we're doing here on a national level. And I'm glad you guys are here. So let's get started. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Good. Okay, so let's see here. So what is Mom's House, right, guys? We're a lead aggregator. We kind of just talked about that a second. We do it in the senior living industry. It's the flashpoint of when families need to sell the home. People always say, Philip, what a nice little niche that you're in, and they just don't understand the numbers. I always get a chuckle out of that because 7 out of 10 Americans, only 7 out of 10, are going to live in some sort of assisted care before they pass away. And they're going to be trading that equity in their home for the care that they need. People are living longer, and the cost of care is going through the roof. And most Americans don't have a lot of money. In fact, 95%, almost all of their equity is tied up in their house. They don't have cash in the bank, but the equity is tied up in their home. And so Mom's House was created over 12 years ago now as a way for those families to unlock that equity, to sell that house to our Mom's House network. And so I'm excited to share with you what that is. What we do here at Mom's House is we give families more time with their loved ones by alleviating the stress when a senior transitions into care. When you put your mom into senior living, it's one of the most stressful times of your life. Families that get along don't get along during this situation a lot of times. And so there's a lot of emotions involved and greed involved, all kinds of crazy things that happen. And they're being pulled in at least 4 different directions. And the thought of adding that 5th burden of cleaning the house out and getting it ready for the market or doing a rehab is just too much. And that's how Mom's House was born. So what does this mean for you? And this is, if I was on this listening to the same thing, I'd be like, cool, Phil, this sounds great, but what does this mean for me? What can I do with this? And so what we're going to teach you over the next 3 days is how to build a continuous lead flow of not just leads, guys, but the best leads I've ever found in real estate. In fact, we always do a challenge to the world. If you have a better lead source out there, I'll pay you $1,000 for that lead source because I'm an active real estate investor today. I still have an active home buying business right now. And so if you know of a better one, I'm gladly pay you $1,000. And to date, no one's even come close because these are not just leads, but they're truly the best leads I've ever found in 24 years of real estate. One of the reasons why they're the best leads is that second thing you see there. These leads are free. So the best leads in our business are actually free. I'm not going to be telling you have to do direct mail or pay-per-click or bandit signs or all these other types of marketing. This is a referral-based network of people that work with each other when they know, like, and trust each other. Write those 3 words down, guys, down. Know, like, and trust. You're going to hear me say that quite a bit over the next 3 days. It's easy to be known. It's harder to be liked. And what we're shooting for is trust. And when they trust you, they will refer to you for the next 10, 15, 20 years. If you build the right relationships, write this down as well. You're going to hear me use the term 20 is plenty. If you just have 20 relationships that know, like, and trust you, you can have a continuous lead flow, an endless lead flow of the best leads in our industry that come directly to you. So gone are the days of competing with a bunch of other investors. We'll learn that most of the time I don't compete with anyone. I'm fishing in a pond where no one else is. It's truly a blue ocean that I swim in. And I want to show you how that works. You can do 20 plus deals a year in your market with no marketing budget. It's also a recession-proof business. Two things I know for certain. Families or people will continue to get older in your town. That's without question. And also, yes, the market is hot right now, but as we go into this recession, this dip, our value proposition actually gets stronger as that happens. So I'm not looking forward to a downturn, but I know that Mom's House as a company is even stronger during that time. Number 5 is a big one. You won't hear a lot of people in the real estate industry talking about this, but I actually care about and I think about a lot the people I'm buying houses from. To a lot of transactional real estate investors, it's just bricks and sticks and no emotions at all and very transactional. But if you really think about who you're buying the home from, how you can fix their problem that they're going through, you're going to be a much better home buyer. So I really get to see the weight come off of the family's shoulders when I'm helping them. And that's, I get that feeling of truly helping people in their time of need. And then the 6th one there is I'm fishing in a pond where no one else is. So every day I talk to investors and they say, Phil, where is the competition? Where is there less competition? Everything I do has way too much competition. And you'll see today that we're really going to question you on what business you're building today versus what we're talking about with Mom's House. And just to let you guys know, there is a better way to do this business. So let's get some of the what ifs out of the way.
Just real quick too, I just want to give a little layout. I probably need a slide on that about the structure of how these 3 days are going to go. So today is really going to be about, what are we talking about here? I know Philip just said a lot there. It makes sense to me because I've heard it so many times. I know this so well, but it might take you a little bit to understand and fully wrap your head around this. That's why we do 3 days of this, because it really does take some time to digest this and then to understand why these are the best leads and how this can really work for you in your business. So today we're going to be talking about the senior living industry, the problem that they have, and how we can help them. So really a lot of general information about how we can use the strategy in your business. So on day 2, we're going to be talking about who we actually reach out to. So who are the key players? So there's a lot of really great content in day 2. So make sure you show up for day 2. That's where we actually talk about the specific people we end up networking with and building these referral relationships with. And then on day 3, we're going to talk about the marketing tactics and daughter Judy and a lot of other great stuff on day 3. So more content. So stay tuned for that. So let's jump into here some questions that some of you might have. I know a lot of you are realtors. So
what if you're a realtor, right? Is that a negative? No, it's not. But you don't have to have a real estate license to do that. You do not have to have a real estate license to do what we do. I've had a real estate license for 20 years and I hardly ever use it because I'm going direct to the consumer and I'm buying their house outright from them in that time of when they're, trading their equity for care. And so it doesn't hurt you if you're a realtor, but we're going to be clear out of the gate. What we're teaching people how to do is become a senior transition specialist. And so the word investor is sometimes looked at, or a lot of times is looked at as a negative word. And also a realtor may even be worse than an investor because that's how they've been fixing this problem for the past 30 plus years. And it's not fixing the senior living problem of unlocking that equity quicker. And so you'll learn that the Mom's House proposition is better than what a realtor can offer a lot of the times. And so what if you're just starting out? That's no problem. Go ahead.
And Philip, what if I'm a realtor and I don't know anything about the invest? I mean, that's kind of what I'm just starting out. What if I don't know anything about investing? I've heard of it, but I'm really just focused on getting leads for my real estate business. What do I do? Is this for me at all to get listings out of this, or should I look into adding in the investing piece of this business? Will that be a good fit for me?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think if you're a realtor and you've been around a while, you've probably been working with investors and you start to figure out what they're doing with their properties and you realize, man, I went in on that. Why am I selling these off when I could buy them myself? And so you can get listings from these seniors that we're talking about at Mom's House here. That will not be the front end priority. It could be the what's best for the family. So to be clear, we meet them at their level, and sometimes a listing is necessary. But what we find is that very few times is the house ever close to retail ready. When you're talking about a house that the family's lived in for 20 to 60 years, the chances of it being 2022 market ready is very, very slim. And so you're going to want to try to focus on either becoming the investor or working with the investors. We'll talk about our nationwide buying network. You guys could even get in front of deals and bring them back to Mom's House as a nationwide buyer. And so if you're just starting out, we kind of learned about. Go ahead.
Let's just kind of touch more on realtors. I know we have a lot of realtors here, and we always do. What if a lot of people have what ifs if they're just a real estate agent about getting into the investing game? Like how easy can I get into the investing side of the business if I don't have any money? Things like that.
Sure. If you don't have any, I mean, that, the late night commercials guys that said you can get into real estate, make a ton of money with no credit and no money. That's actually a true statement if you know who you're going to sell it to. And so we talk about that in our training about knowing who you're going to sell the house to before you get it under contract. A lot of times these hedge funds are purchasing houses outright. So that's right now there's more people looking to buy deals than there are deals. So to be clear, Mom's House is a lead aggregator, a deal aggregator. When you get in front of the flow of deals, who you sell it to, when you have that opportunity to control the deal flow, there's many types of, you can wholesale them, you can rehab them, you can keep them as rentals. You'll really get to control how the lead flow works when you start to get in front of these deals. And so to be clear, Mom's House is going to teach you how to get in front of them. We'll talk about the exit strategies in our training. What if you're already an experienced investor? Well, you're the easiest one to convince here. You've been stuck on that wheel of spending 5, 10, 15. I know guys that spend $150,000 a month on marketing, and they don't even know what else to spend money on. They're doing every type of marketing out there, and they hope for a good ROI, or return on investment. And so today we're talking about how to build relationships with people in senior living, and they're going to start to look at you as a tool that they use in their business, because everybody cares about what's in it for them. And if you do it right, they will bring you endless leads directly to you for houses to buy in your market. And so it's really exciting to be here with you guys. Let's keep going. We're looking for real estate professionals that, pretty simple, they love real estate, but they also have this. Number 2 is very important. I think everybody here is going to say they love real estate, but do you love helping others? If you know you don't, I used to say, well, you're out. Well, we've kind of changed that to say, if you don't love helping others, I need to help you hire the person that will go out and do the networking in your area to build those relationships. It is worth your time and effort to hire that person, maybe like a social worker or someone like that is already in your local market, that is already known, liked, and trusted by everyone, that you could hire to do that if you're not the right person. Now, if you say, Phil, I think I can do both, that's great. That's most people on here right now are going to say, hey, I love helping others and I love real estate. So many people that come to our training, they always say, Phil, I've been looking to get into real estate. I just didn't know how, and this hit different, or this hit my heart in a different spot. Good. If you feel that way, great. By the time we're done at this 3 days, you're really going to feel that way, because this is a beautiful opportunity for the American dream, which is to help a lot and to make a lot. And that's what we have here. So if you have those 2 attributes, you are in the right spot. What are we doing here today? Why are Ryan and I on this? It's to try to build out this nationwide network of empathetic, trusted investors. We have leads coming in nationwide into the Mom's House network, and I can't be everywhere at once, nor do I want to be everywhere at once. And so instead of hiring 1,000 employees nationwide, it's not the life I wanted. We're doing these type of challenges to find people that want to work leads in their local area. So here's what you're here to learn, guys: how to drive your marketing budget down to zero, how to build a real estate business that comes directly to you. And we're going to learn why senior living matters. The numbers are staggering. If you are already a real estate investor, in fact, you guys can put it in the chat here. If you're already a real estate investor, think about the last 5 houses you bought. Were the sellers 28 years old, or were they 82 years old? And almost everybody says, Phil, I think I've already been buying houses like this. That's who the sellers are. And now this Mom's House system kind of puts a system around what this is, of buying houses in that flashpoint of when these families need to sell their house versus want to sell. There's a fundamental difference there. We're going to learn what the nature is of the best leads. There's 10 reasons why these leads are the best. I'm going to give you the 10 reasons. I'm going to tell you the 10 reasons why these are the best leads, and I'll still do that challenge. If you have a better lead source that's better than these 10 reasons, I'll pay you $1,000 for your lead source, just because I'll want to do it in my own market. I'm going to show you how to build a business that's sustainable in any economy. The only thing that could stop this is if we find the fountain of youth and people stop aging. And so other than that, this is unstoppable. Even through COVID, you can't put the toothpaste back into the tube. This was sustainable even through a pandemic. And so this is building a sustainable business. No matter who the president is, no matter what the economy is or what the interest rate, people will need to sell their house. I'll teach you how to stand out from your competition. We're doing these to shine a big, bright light on what Mom's House is. I'm going to show you how to fish in a pond where there's not other people already there. or very few. There's so much pie in this industry that we need a lot of help, and we're just getting started on building our nationwide network. I'm going to show you exactly what the action plan is with your 20 is plenty list. To be clear, I'm going to say this 100 times, so maybe write this down as well. Only having 20 connections is not the goal. That's the end goal. So you might start with 100 people, and I'll show you who those people are over the next 3 days. Those job titles to build, get to know these 100 people, and then it will boil itself down to 20 people. I know it's hard to believe, and not everybody likes me, and not everybody will like you. So out of those 100, can you get down to just 20 relationships that know, like, and trust you? If you can, and show you how to implement this niche, you can have a business that comes to you. I'm going to show you why senior living wants you to find them. And I'll say it differently. They need you to find them. They have an occupancy problem. It's probably the number one problem in senior living is how do we increase occupancy and how do we increase the length of stay? And the Mom's House service fixes both of those problems. So we are super valuable to the senior living industry. I'll teach you about that. And I want to talk about what your current lead strategy is. This is something that can augment what you're already doing. You might find that you only want to work these leads, and that's fine because they are the best. But I'm saying you don't need to turn off your current real estate business, but this will help augment and make you a better home buyer by having this tool in your tool belt. And the last one there is getting fulfillment and joy out of this business. I don't know anybody that's doing bandit signs that says they get fulfillment out of this business, or cold calling, or text message blasting. I have 3 buddies right now that are settling lawsuits, 3 friends that are settling lawsuits because they got caught in the text message spam traps, and they're settling lawsuits because their marketing efforts created a lawsuit. So that's not where you want to be, right? I don't know if they're getting fulfillment or joy out of those things, but that's the nature of some other people's real estate businesses. We have a lot of VIP members on here already. I saw somebody in the chat asking they still get into VIP. Yes, you can. It's super worth it, guys. We're talking about $97 here. We're going to have an interview tomorrow with Jeff Ballou. He's a real live placement agent. We're going to learn a lot about who placement agents are and how they work in our business. They're one of 50 job titles that we're going to teach you about, or can teach you about. And so if you still are interested in the VIP, all you got to do is go to momshouse.com /VIP. So many people have already bought it that we're not going to spend a crazy amount of time on it because most of you have already seen the value there. Ryan, you want to kind of talk about what they get here in the VIP?
Yeah, let's just run through this, some slides just covering it real quick. We'll just go through it real quick, talking about. So go to the next slide, please, Philip.
Sure.
So the first thing is we're right after this call. So this call lasts about an hour, and each day we're going to be on YouTube for about an hour, and then we jump over to a private Zoom call just for the VIP members, where we get to ask Philip every question that you'd like to have. You get to spend a whole extra hour with him, so 3 extra hours each day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And in that call, it's just not going to be just a question and answer. We're actually doing a lot of great stuff. If you actually go to the next slide too.
Right here?
Yep. We're going to be giving you some great deliverables, as well as some resources. We're going to actually give you the slide deck that we're using over the next 3 days.
Yeah, because I talk fast, Ryan, right? I mean, guys, I'm trying to give you a ton of information. And so having the slide deck will let you go through and at your own speed as well.
Yep. And then so what we're doing in that day one today, when we jump into the VIP call, we're going to be talking about 20 is plenty. Philip mentioned it real briefly. We're going to talk about it again, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But what that is, that's your prospecting list. That's really the keys to doing this business. It's your referral list that you end up building out in your local market. And those are the people you end up building referral relationships with, who end up giving you leads, where you end up helping families. So it's a whole process in building out that list and how to find those key players, because a lot of you probably aren't familiar with the senior living industry and all the different roles that go into it. So today, when we off this call, we're going to be building out and be helping Philip. We're actually going to be building out. We're going to choose someone from our VIP list and start building out their 20 is plenty list in their local market. And you get to follow along, hear from Philip, and watch as we go through that. So that's how Philip started his business and has all the success from building out that list. And you're going to get to see us do it live.
Somebody just asked how you get the VIP. It's just go to momshouse.com /VIP. I'm sure we can drop that in the chat there. You know, and the cool thing about this too, guys, in the VIP, when we go through on how to build this, we're going to build this out for someone. You're all going to be building those at the same time. So the tangible thing you'll have when you walk away from these 3 days is you'll know exactly who in your market you're supposed to be contacting. You're going to learn, you're going to go from 0 to 100 really fast, because you're going to have something that's just for you. So even in Ryan and I being in the same city, if we both did this exercise, we wouldn't have the same list, because it's that much pie out there. And so your list is your list. The keyword search guide is really important. Not knowing a lot about this industry yet, guys, knowing what words to search on how to find those people. That's what we help you with there in the VIP. We also have, you want to talk about the this academy here?
Yeah, I put everything in this VIP access areas, what I call it. So I'll be uploading all the recordings. You have lifetime access to the recordings. So today I'll be uploading all the main training and the VIP call right after we get done with them. And that's where you get all those resources, the 20 is plenty guide, the worksheet that we're going to be using, and the keyword search guide, the slides, and a lot of great other stuff there. So you have your own login to that. You get lifetime access there.
Great. And then the call scripts are really important. I'm really, the real estate investor and the real estate agent might have good intentions, but what they're going to do is they're going to put their foot in their mouth in the senior living industry and not even know they're doing it. And so in our training, we spend a lot of time on the scripting of how to position yourself as a tool for the senior living industry so they know, like, and trust you. And the scripts are super important on what to say, but we spend a lot of time, guys, too, on what not to say. And that's built into the scripts there in the VIP. Tomorrow, we're going to interview Mr. Jeff Ballou. There's a picture of Jeff. I've been working with him for over 10 years now. He's going to talk about why he became a placement agent. That's one of the job titles we'll be teaching you about. How he finds business, how he networks, how he wants to be found. And that'll be a live question and answer. So if you're in the VIP, you can actually ask Jeff questions. We'll get to interview him tomorrow.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things is see Jeff and Philip talk, and you get to see how Philip talks to someone who he has built a relationship with, who is a great referral partner for Philip. You guys get to see how you speak to someone in this industry, how they want to be spoken to. They get to work through those call scripts. So you get to see that live. On that VIP Zoom call. So I look forward to that.
It's well worth it, guys. And so that's the VIP, right? And for $97, I mean, my goodness, that's a phenomenal value. And just go to momshouse.com/VIP. People are still asking there in the chat. Just look in the chat there, guys, and the link is there, or write it down here, momshouse.com/VIP. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into this Endless Leads Summer Challenge. What do we mean by endless, right? The numbers are so staggering for how many people are going to be moving into senior living. And I look at the real estate world today, and I want to talk about the problems that I see. I feel like all real estate investors, they're all using the same marketing tactics, right? They're all doing direct mail. They're all doing pay-per-click. They're all doing bandit signs. They're text message blasting, cold calling, right? And what happens is when that competition increases, the costs go up, but it cuts your profits down. And do you ever feel like, I always ask this question, it can be scary to some, if you turned off your marketing efforts today, your direct response marketing, if you stopped doing that today, how long would it be before you had no more phone calls again? Some people say 3 days, 5 days, 10 days. But then after 10 days, once that direct mail campaign's over, you probably will never get a call again. And so a lot of people feel like they're only as good as their last marketing ad spend. And so it's really scary to feel like you're not building something sustainable. A lot of people will tell you, to be successful in this business, you have to spend to win, right? You have to go from $1,000 a month to $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000. You have to keep spending higher and higher if you want to scale your business. It's really complicated in a lot of people's minds to build out this huge real estate buying business. People always say, I want to buy 100 houses a year. And I'm always like, well, why? What's the number 100? Why is that significant? And when we really get down to it, with my average profit of being almost $20,000 in my market, and just a nice Midwest market, guys, if you just did one deal a month from this, making $200,000 plus is the American dream for most Americans. That would put you in the 1%, just getting to that level, and that's really a part-time job, just doing one deal a month. And so let's talk about the numbers. Why does senior living matter? Look at the stats here of the people over the age of 65. All the way back from the year 1900. Let's just focus on the year 2020 there. There's 54 million people over the age of 65. But by the year 2030, so over the next 8 years, we're going to gain almost another 20 million boomers and their parents. And to put this in perspective, if you like numbers, there's over $10 trillion in real estate. That's with a T, not a B. $10 trillion in real estate owned by the boomers and their parents outright. They own that real estate outright. And so when I think about what my business is now versus what it used to be, this was what I used to do weekly, guys. I used to do about 6,000 mailers a week. I'd walk into the post office and they'd say, "Oh, go get the cart. Mr. Vincent's here. He's gonna put his mailers out." Why did I have to take mail and bring it to the mail house? It's because if you know the direct mail game, you want to have a local stamp that it came from a local person. And so I had to get it shipped to me. Then I had to go to a post office and I had to drop these 6,000 mailers a week. And it's sustainable if you never turn it off, right? Direct mail works if you never turn it off. And it's still a spray and pray model. Do you really think you're the only investor out there that's mailing to over 65, has lived there at least 20 years, and has equity? The answer is laughably, of course not. You're probably one of 100 people that's sending that same letter, that same postcard to that same list. And so does this look like your marketing efforts that you guys are doing today? I know we're joking here, but not really. I talk to investors every single day, and they just say the things that they used to do with results aren't working the same way. And the reason why is, guys, we've been on an upward trajectory here since really the year 2010, I'd say. We've had a 12-year run of things going up in value, and the last 2 years have been hypersonic speed. And there's so much competition. There's millions of people that call themselves real estate investors that get started, and a lot of people's marketing efforts aren't getting the results that they used to do or they used to have. And so what I'm going to do really over this next 3 days is we're going to wipe out the notion that you have to spend thousands of dollars a month to have a successful real estate business. And whenever I say to you right now, I mean this: who told you that you have to spend $5,000, $10,000 a month to have a real estate business that works? And the reason why is that's the way it used to be, and things are changing. And if you want to build something sustainable and reoccurring, another two of the attributes of why these are the best leads, you're in the right place. And so who is this training for? It's for people that have this problem on the right. Is your marketing budget right now a dumpster fire, right? Is all this competition in your market making you go nuts and you say, Phil, there's got to be a better way? There is, and we're going to talk to you guys about building something actually sustainable. And so what I want to do is, guys, ask you this question. If I show you a way to work less hours, drive your marketing budget down to zero, and still help you make more money, would you take me up on this opportunity? And if your answer is yes, then you're definitely in the right place. We're going to talk about this 20 is plenty, and who these people are. These are the people that are having the really tough conversations with this list here. If you look at the aging population of the United States, this chart is staggering.
Really
look at the year, look at that year 1960, right? It's basically a pyramid. Very few females and males over the age of 85 in the United States. But by the year 2060, which, by the way, we're only in the year 2022, right? We're a long way away from 2060. Look at what's happening. It's almost become a rectangle shape. That population is here for the next 20 plus years. So I don't know how long you want to work in real estate. I'm 44 years old. So for me, 20 more years is about all I want to work. I do love buying houses. So maybe when I'm 100, I'll still be buying houses. But my point is that this training, guys, isn't to get you one deal. It isn't to get you 10 deals. It's to get you this 20 is plenty is the job titles of the people that are having the conversations with these families, these aging seniors that are moving into senior living. The numbers are staggering. If you are a real estate investor today, you already know you're probably buying houses from seniors anyway. So why not make this your go-to lead source? This is what happens when we help somebody. The biggest concern they have is they know they need to move into senior living, but they say, what are we going to do with the house? What are we going to do with the stuff? And so this is the Mom's House logo. That's my original logo. Can anybody tell me in the chat what you see here in this logo? What is this logo?
Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. There's a little bit of delay with the chat.
Yeah, has anybody answered us yet? I can't see it there. Yeah. This is what's called cross stitch. Why would the Mom's House logo be cross stitch? Well, if you think about who we're buying houses from and who I've been focusing on for the past 12 years, almost every single house I buy has cross stitch in it. And so what I love about cross stitch in the house, it speaks to the age of the seller, but it always seems to be pictures of like this, guys. When God closes the door, he opens a window. It's right. It's almost always a picture of some saying about family and love, and it's almost always a picture of a house. Right? Look at these. They all have a house in them. And so cross stitch is near and dear to my heart because that's the sellers of these houses that I'm buying. I mean, look at this one. Somebody spent a lot of time on this cross stitch. There was my 5-year-old. He redid my logo, and my mom did it over on the right in the cross stitch. And so it has meaning to us because this is the people I'm really thinking about building this business for the people we serve, and that is seniors moving into senior living. And so, guys, this was my old life. I was tied to doing these weekly. I mean, I think this is like 2014 in this picture based on the cut of my jeans and that jacket. But, this is not, I've been in this business a long time. And so my point is that when I noticed that picture, as you see the pink streak on the letter was to get attention. I've spent millions of dollars on marketing and I've tried everything, and I've never found something as exciting as this mom's house opportunity, because that is not my life anymore. That's what my life used to be. And so the origin story, back in 2011, I was a home buyer for a company here in St. Louis, and I was challenged with, Phil, for every deal we do via direct response marketing, can you go out and find another deal via referral? And so some of the other acquisition people I worked with, they went out and built relationships with real estate agents and other wholesalers. And I did that as well. I would build relationships with agents and wholesalers. And what I found is you could get deals from other real estate agents and other wholesalers. But here was the problem that I found. It was really hard to keep their attention for very long, because they were actually in the real estate business. A real estate agent figured out what I was doing with it and said, I want to play in that game. They wanted to get in the investment side. Or a wholesaler, if they're smart, they're either going to be out of the business or surpass me very, very quickly, because they're going to realize what I'm doing with the properties. And so it's hard to keep that relationship maintained for over a year, maybe 2 years. You're lucky if you get that long out of it. Do you really think you're the only investor that your real estate agent's talking to? Of course not. And so I found the opposite in senior living. These people that work in senior living have already been there 5, 10, 20 years, and they're going to be there the next 5, 10, 20 years. They're not leaving senior living. And guess what, guys? They don't want to get into real estate. They've chosen the senior living world as their path. And so they look at me as a tool that fixes that senior living problem, which is, how do we unlock the equity for care so mom can move into care quicker? To be clear, the number one thing they care about is, how do we get mom the best care as quickly as possible? Followed very quickly with, how in the world are we going to pay for this? And that's when they say, man, we're going to need to sell the house, mom's house, and what are we going to do with the stuff? And so my origin story was born out of, I would say it was born out of laziness. And so if you can believe me there, it's true. I hated working crappy leads. I still hate working crappy leads. When I talk to investors every day and they tell me about their cold calling numbers, it gives me cold chills, because I couldn't imagine that being my life. I've worked only with sellers who need my service. We haven't said it yet, and you'll probably hear me say this a lot. I close about 4 out of 10 of my leads. 4 out of 10 end up being houses I purchase. Why am I batting 400 and the industry average is 1 out of 20? So that's 0.50. Why am I 8 times better than the industry average? It's not because I'm a ninja negotiator. I'm probably good at negotiating, but it's because I'm working with people that want my service. They need to sell their house versus want to sell their house. And so I dove headfirst into senior living. And guys, in 2011, I did it wrong. So this training that you're getting is my misery. It's my beating my head against the wall, because I did it wrong. I walked in with my big personality. You can tell by my shirt that I like to have a good time. I'm an investor. I'm a realtor. Sell me your houses. And I came in guns a-blazing. And that was not the right way to break into this industry. And so this training is to help you not put your foot in your mouth like I did by showing up as an investor, because all they hear is the word shark, and don't show up as a real estate agent, because that's the way they've been doing this for 35 years. You're not anything new there, and it's not fixing the senior living problem, which is getting them the equity quicker so they can move mom in quicker. We can move people in months quicker into senior living, and that you'll find it's because they only have a 28-month average stay. That 3 or 4 months on the front end is the difference between profit and not. When you can add 10% onto someone's length of stay, is a big, big deal for the senior living industry. So that's my origin story. And so I want to talk to you guys now about the word someday. A lot of times people say, someday I'm going to go out and learn a new skill, or someday I'm going to do this, or take this trip, or learn how to play the guitar, whatever, right? So these days turn into weeks, turn into months, and then now it's going to be, was that pre-pandemic, post-pandemic? What year was that? I feel like the 2020s have already been a long decade. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. But when you start to see how short life is, you kind of get scared. And so this is my partner, Ben. This is his chart. He's 53. And on that red dot, that red star there is when he's going to die. The average age for a male in the Midwest here is 78 years old. And so he's got this many summers left. And so what I've learned about the senior living industry, guys, is that we all need to have a sense of urgency. I've learned that the golden years aren't going to be so golden. In fact, they're kind of scary. And so kiss your loved ones today and get those trips in and build the business you want now, because no one is going to hand it to you. Do not wait for someday to happen to you. You have to go out and have a sense of urgency and build the life that you want right now. And so to be successful at the Mom's House program, you have to lead with care. You're going to hear me say this a lot too, is that in real estate networking, you're going to walk into these local RIA groups. I'm sure a lot of you guys do networking in real estate. Every single RIA group you go to or real estate investment meeting you go to, you see someone's check. You see the size of their check. They're always showing off their checks. I've been networking in senior living for over 12 years now, and no one has ever shown me their check yet. And what I mean by that is it's a different industry. It is not, look what I did, look at my Lamborghini, look at all these things. It is a care business. And if you don't lead with care, you're going to find yourself on the outside looking in. And it has to be your mindset for success. And so if you know you don't care, then you shouldn't start, to be honest with you. You should just not start if that is your, if you're very transactional and only want the deals, only care about the numbers, this is not the right program for you. If you lead with the heart and not be transactional, you can build relationships that are sustainable and meaningful and can feed you and your family for the next 20 plus years. And that is an amazing thing. I really think the American dream is to help a lot and to make a lot of money. Making money is not a bad thing. And so I get to help people in their time of need and make a great living. And so I've been living this life for so long now that I forgot what the other way is like. And so I want to show you guys how you could have that same feeling as well.
Hey, Philip,
so
do you want to show that video of Tani, the daughter?
Yeah, I so do. It's a great video. We talk about leading with the heart. I want you guys to all listen to this, and maybe in the comment section as we're watching this, tell me what emotions, I won't put words in your mouth, but tell me what you think Tani is feeling and going through when you watch this video.
Yeah. Tee it up for them a little bit more. Who are we listening to?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Tani is a seller. So, we said we had these leads coming in nationwide. So Tani is the typical daughter Judy. Her mom is moving into senior living. She didn't know what to do. The community literally said, we can't move I think it was your dad in here until we know how you're going to pay for it. They didn't have any money. So the only money that they were going to get was out of the house. She thought she was going to get 10 grand for it, which wasn't enough to pay for the care. She just was completely stressed. This is who you're going to be working with stereotypically in this business. If you can't show this person empathy and love, then this business is not right for you. So let's watch Tani to see what she's going through. And she's a client of Mom's House.
My mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I was told by the doctors that she could no longer live alone starting immediately. And she had very limited funds, and her house was in horrible state. Plumbing, electrical, foundation. There was no, and just the living clutter, stench, so forth. So there was no way we were going to be able to do it in a timely fashion. I live in Florida, so I flew in town for about a week to get some doctor's appointments done, and I was able to contact Mom's House and get someone to meet me at her house in that short time frame when I was in Kansas City. They worked around my schedule and met me there to look at the house and be able to give me a quote the very next day, and then let me schedule the closing for when I could come back again to Kansas City. It was extremely embarrassing to have someone go into her house. The plumbing did not work. The stench was unreal. And I warned him before we went in, but he assured me that it was okay. And I definitely got emotional when, after we'd gone through it. Sorry. And he was very kind and understanding when he was talking to me about it, and said he had been, he had a parent that he had to do a similar thing with. And I never felt judged at all. It was a very good experience. I met Kevin, the senior specialist, at the house from Mom's House, and got my quote within a day or two. I think it was the very next day. And then I wasn't able to come back in town for a month, 3 weeks. They scheduled the closing for when I got back. It could have been much sooner, but they had to wait for me to get back in town. And then scheduled it, and I had the funds. It was either that day or the very next day. It might have been the next day only because it was a later closing, but it was phenomenal. I was blown away. Putting my mom into a facility obviously was going to cost quite a bit of money, and she has a very limited income and had a very small savings. And for me to be able to move her immediately like the doctors were wanting, I was going to have proof that we had the funds to be able to keep her in the facility for a while. I couldn't move her in with the amount that she had. And the fact that they were able to move so quickly so I could, it was just such a smooth transition. And for me to be doing it from out of state, I mean, I could not have asked for a better scenario. I would absolutely recommend Mom's House to anyone who is trying to find a new place for their loved one to live in, especially if they're needing to sell the house quickly in order to get that move done. And if the house is in a position where they can't sell it immediately.
So, I mean, when I watch somebody like Tani, it always makes me a little emotional too. It's like there's a lot to unpack with what we just saw there. So obviously motivation is, not even the word, right? She has beyond motivation. I mean, the doctors are saying, you can't move your parent into here until you have the money. And she's like, well, where the world's the money going to come from? And I don't even live in town. And then, Mom's House then comes out and even though she said she was embarrassed, our senior transition specialist made it easy on her and said, hey, we're not worried about, the house condition. That's what I do. I specialize in this as a real estate buyer. I said, this is what I'm looking for. This opportunity is what I'm looking for. And so she even said she delayed the closing. The guy was ready to close in 10 days or 12 days, and she needed to wait 3 weeks. People are always like, well, she could have closed from down in Florida. Why didn't she do a mobile closing? Well, guys, what do you think was back home? Why do you think she wanted to come back into town as to why she needed to delay the closing for 30 days instead of 2 weeks? Anybody want to take a guess as to why? Well, I mean, the answer is because that's where her mom was, or her dad was, her family, that she needed to come back in town to see her loved one. And so she delayed the closing because she wanted to come back and check on her parent, because this all happened so fast. And she, had this gun to her head. She was emotional. She was so scared. Was another way to look at it. Did you hear the nervous laugh in her voice? It's because she didn't know what to do. And so that is the type of person. That's the daughter, Judy, that you're going to be helping. And so my biggest fear at Mom's House is having that butthead out there, that normal real estate investor who's just transactional. This is a no butthead zone, right? You need to have love in your heart. Nobody's saying you can't make money, but you have to treat someone fairly. And my scaredness of all of this is, could you take advantage of a person like Tani in that emotional state? And the answer is some sharks would do that. And so we're looking for the opposite kind of investor that's going to understand that profit's not a bad word, but can you help that person at their level, help them unlock their problem, get their equity out of their house so they can pay for that care. And when you do it the right way, it's fulfilling. You can see the weight come off of daughter Judy or Tani's shoulders here in this case. You can literally see the weight. I've gotten hugs from people, guys and girls. They give me a hug to say, this is over. I don't have to deal with this anymore. And it's because that emotion is that real. And so
we see examples like this all the time from our students who help out daughter Judy's or whoever the adult child is in that situation. And we didn't get to play the rest of that video because it's a little bit longer. We don't have time for it. But she ends up saying that she got way more money than she expected. Right, Philip?
Yeah, her husband said you'd be lucky to get 10,000 out of it, and I think she ended up getting 60,000. And so, maybe the husband might have sold it for 10 grand if it was up to him. And so the point is that there's opportunity in what we're talking about here, guys. These are the best real estate leads. And so let's talk about your business, the business that you're building right now. I feel like a lot of you guys are in the Me Too business. You're doing what everyone else is doing, and we're lemmings chasing each other over the cliff, right? What business are you building? Literally, this guy, I'll give him points for being funny, but the We Buy Houses sign, and then he put one, it said Me Too, right? And so it's literal Me Too advertising. You're trying to stand out, but yet you're doing everything else that everyone else is doing. We get so excited sometimes, guys, to go out and get started in real estate. And I can't wait till I do my direct mail, till I do my bandit signs. We get so excited to get started. Sometimes we go too fast. And if anybody can tell me here in the chat, what did this person forget in their bandit signs? Do you think they laid there at night and wondered why they're not getting any phone calls, or why they're all the efforts that they put out didn't get the results that they wanted? A scary stat I'll give you is one of the biggest print houses is right here in the town that we live in. And I was talking to him about the typical real estate investor. He said 90% of the time they do one direct mail marketing drop. So 1 month they drop mail, whether it's 1,000 pieces, 2,000, 5,000 pieces. They do it one time and then they stop. 90% of the time they do one and then they stop. And do you think it's because they bought so many houses from that one drop that they retired? Or do you think it's because that one drop, they spent their money on it and didn't get the results that they wanted, and so now they don't have the money to do it again next month? Because even though I like direct mail, it's still a spray and pray method, hoping you're waiting for that right timing of when they need your service. I've completely flipped it now to where I only work with people that have said, they've raised their hand and say, I need to sell now. It's the flashpoint of when they need to sell. And so do you guys want to be in the marketing business, or do you want to be in the home buying business? You know, everybody says, I want to be a real estate investor, I want to be a home buyer, but you find out very quickly you're actually in the marketing business. So then you go back to all these other ways that every other investor is doing, and that's where the problem is, where the Me Too marketing is happening, is because no one's trying to reinvent the wheel. And so with this Mom's House program, you don't have to make this up as you go. I have the program in place. I'm actively buying houses today and have been for over 12 years now from this one source, and it's the best lead source. So I'm going to teach you how to get into the home buying business. We call this section the best leads bingo. And so I want you guys to keep track at home when I go through this as to which one you think is the best. And so the concept is, I'm going to go across the top here. What is your average cost per deal? And so in the direct mail game, we hear people say between $2,500 and $3,500. That's not per lead, guys. That's the cost per contract, meaning how much money did I have to spend on mailers to get one house bought? And the average for direct mail is between $2,500 and $3,500. Pay-per-click marketing, or like Google AdWords marketing, it's even higher. We hear between $5,000 and $7,000 to acquire a deal. Text message blasting is less. It's usually around $1,200 per deal, but that usually the people are forgetting to add in their own time or list buying or VAs that they've hired out. So that one can be a really time-consuming one. Bandit signs is also around $1,200 per deal. Cold calling is around $1,200 per deal. TV and radio can be even higher. That's in that $5,000 to $10,000 range. And then the cost per deal with Mom's House is $0. These leads come to you directly, and there's no cost to them. So it's $0 per deal when you use the Mom's House method. Is the next one down there is time consuming? Is direct mail time consuming? A lot of people say either it is because they're writing their own letters when they first start out, or they hire someone to do it for them. So then it's not really their time is being consumed, but they're paying for someone else's time to be consumed. Pay-per-click marketing. If you're trying to do your own Facebook ads or your own Google ads, it's its own industry. It's its own thing. I see very few people having success with that on their own. So they usually hire someone else out to do that for them. Text message blasting is time consuming. Bandit signs are time consuming. We'll get to bandit signs here in a second, but what time of the day are you supposed to put out bandit signs? Anyone? Is cold calling time consuming? Yes. Is TV and radio time consuming? Actually, that one's not too bad. Usually once you get the campaign up and running for billboards, it usually stays up for 6 months to a year. So that one's not too bad. The Mom's House, and this is one of your questions. I'm sure a lot of you guys are saying, Phil, I want to do this program. What do I need to do? Mom's House takes about between 3 and 5 hours per week in the beginning to start building the relationships that you want. And then after you build the level of relationships that you want, then it's just a matter of maintaining those relationships. So 2 weeks ago, I put about 3 hours in. I did a networking group at Topgolf. I got to go play Topgolf for 2 hours with some other people in our industry. And then the next day I went to what's called a breakthrough coalition for about an hour. And so that week I spent about 3 hours on maintaining my relationships. And so it's not very time consuming. We'll go through a little quicker now. Is direct mail competitive? Yes. Is pay-per-click competitive? Of course it is. Text message blasting, very competitive. Bandit signs, super competitive. Cold calling, very competitive. TV, radio, not so bad. TV, radio, and billboard are not that competitive, only because the cost is so high to get started. So anyone first starting out, that's probably not where you're going to start anyway, just because you don't have a $15,000, $20,000 a month budget. And so with Mom's House, they're not competitive at all. Usually, guys, I'm the only person working these leads because of how that lead came to me directly. High equity. Does every lead you get with direct mail have high equity? The answer is sometimes and maybe. And pay-per-click, sometimes maybe. Text message blasting, sometimes maybe. Bandit signs, do they have high equity? Sometimes maybe. Cold calling, sometimes maybe. TV, radio, I usually hear not very qualified leads or not very much high equity. The Mom's House leads, though, is a different story. 90% of the time, they own the house outright. And the other 10% of the time might be a small second mortgage or a reverse mortgage. And depending on how long they've had it, that might factor in. But 90% of the time they own the house outright. This is where their equity is. And so these are the highest equity leads that I've ever found. You saw Tani's video, right? Was Tani motivated, right? Clearly, Mom's House is the highest motivation that I've ever worked with. Is there motivation on the other lead sources? The answer is sometimes and maybe. Now, the next one's called the Skeezy Factor. What is a skeeze? You know that feeling where you need to take a shower because you just don't feel right? The used car salesman feeling about that. The Skeezy Factor for direct mail is not too bad, but I still have people call and scream at me about taking me off their list. I've gotten postcards with like a stop sign with bullet holes in it. Take me off your list. So like angry about my direct mail. I've had people, the Skeezy Factor for pay-per-click's not so bad. Text message blasting, guys, is spam. It is skeezy. Bandit signs. Guys, literally the word bandit is in the name of the damn marketing campaign. It's called bandit. You got, you're trying not to be found, right? And you put out bandit signs at 3 a.m. so you don't get caught, and you use a Google Voice number so you don't get caught. It's like that is a skeezy way to do this business. And I'm not knocking it because I've done bandit signs in the past too. It's just I found a better way. And so this whole idea is about what is your current life, what's your current business versus what this could be. TV and radio, is it skeezy? It's kind of funny. If you're on a billboard or on TV, people think you're trustworthy just because you paid for the ad. And so TV and radio is actually a pretty not skeezy way to do this business. But then we get down to Mom's House. Is it a skeezy feeling to help seniors in their time of need? Obviously it's not. It's one of the most fulfilling ways to do this business. So it wins because it's the least skeezy way to do this business. Can you build a brand with direct mail? The answer is yes, if you never turn it off. Can you build a brand with pay-per-click? Not really. Your blue line and says as is cash buyer looks like every other investor in your town. So it's very hard to build a brand with pay-per-click. It's impossible to build a brand with text message or cold calling. In fact, if you do, what a great way to get a lawsuit, because the more you're known, the easier it is for them to find you on those two spam type ideas. Also with bandit signs, if you're building a brand around your bandit signs, you're going to get caught and get fined by the local municipalities because it's not illegal in most cities to put those signs out. So it's really hard to build a brand. Can you build a brand around TV and radio? Yes, you can. It's just very, very expensive. And can you build a brand with Mom's House? Mom's House is already a brand, but building a brand in senior living, your network is your net worth here. And I'll show you how to do that. It's the best way to build a brand. Mom's House is that thing that can augment your business to get these leads to come directly to you. The last one there is reoccurring, or the second to last one is reoccurring. Direct mail, pay-per-click, all these things are hard to get reoccurring leads, but Mom's House is built on, I'm not teaching you how to find the golden egg, but I'm teaching you how to find the golden goose that lays those golden eggs, those daughter Judies. And so this is a reoccurring lead source where all the other ones are not. You're only as good as your last marketing ad spend on all of those other ones. With this, that person in senior living is your new lead source. That is a reoccurring lead source because every single month they're dealing with families going through this exact situation. And when you'll learn about Mom's House, they need your service. The last one there is, do you have to be a good person to do direct mail, to do pay-per-click, to do all these other things? The answer is no on all of those except for Mom's House. You do have to be a good person to go out and build these relationships, because if you're just transactional and you don't care about people, they're going to figure it out anyway. So I'm trying to save your valuable time. We learned about that someday list. Our time is valuable. If you're not a good person, just don't even start, because senior living will spit you out anyway. So if you don't come with the right heart condition, you won't have the success that you're looking for. So guys, here they are. Remember I said that the $1,000 challenge, if you have a better lead source than mine, I'll pay you $1,000. And I mean that. And I'm even going to give you the 10 reasons why. Like, I'm going to give you my cheat sheet. These are the 10 reasons why these Mom's House leads, these 50 different job titles that I'm going to teach you about, these are the best leads. And we'll just go through them together so you can hear it plainly. They're motivated, right? You saw Tani, the doctor said, hey, we can't let your parent move into here until we know how you're going to pay for it. They're being told by a doctor that they have to move. So seniors trust their priests, their doctors, and their lawyers. Anything they say goes. And when a doctor says mom has to move, then it's go time, right? So I don't have to convince them of motivation. They are motivated. Number two is they have equity. 90% of the time they own the house outright. 90%. The third one there is they have a house that we can add value to. What does that mean? Well, very, very rarely are these houses retail ready. In fact, I've never really seen a retail ready senior's house. There's always, mom got a new roof when the storm came. She maybe got a new hot water heater, but the paneling's in the wrong spot. The wallpaper's everywhere. The kitchen's from the wrong decade. And it's a house that's grandma clean, but it's always full of stuff. And so that is the hard part, is these families don't want to, should not, because they're not real estate professionals, do what it takes to get that house retail ready. It's not their best use of time. The fourth reason is that there's less competition. I fish in a pond where it's usually me versus myself, or me versus a real estate agent, but it's never me versus 10 other investors. Guys, I remember the days of the cattle calls, of going on the direct mail leads, where 10 other investors that I knew in our town would all be there at the same time, and we'd all beat each other up trying to get to that one house. And so there's less competition in what I do now. The fifth one is probably the most important one here. When that warm transfer of trust comes from someone in senior living, like a placement agent, we'll talk to Jeff tomorrow on the VIP there, that person's already put me on a pedestal. They've said Philip is the person that fixes this problem for my clients. And that transfer of trust from someone that they're already getting mom's end of life care from says, hey, have you talked to mom's house? Have you talked to Philip? That is it. That you could be halfway incompetent and still buy a ton of houses when the leads come this way. The sixth one is really important. The best leads that we're talking about here, guys, are free. There is no cost to these leads, because you're actually helping the senior living industry or that person with a problem that they have in their business, whether it's just the care or it's helping them unlock the equity for the care. We talked about how this is reoccurring, that golden goose keeps laying these daughter Judys every single month. And so this is a reoccurring lead source. It's a sustainable lead source that works in any economy, no matter who the president is, this still works. The eighth reason is fulfillment. Have you even thought about the word fulfillment? If you're doing bandit signs or text message blasting, have you even thought of the word fulfillment? Do you even think about who we're buying houses from? Remember when I challenged you guys earlier, if you're already a real estate investor, think of the last 5 houses you bought. How old was the seller of the last 5 houses you bought? Almost always they're 70 to 90 years old. They're almost always seniors. This thing that we're doing works in any economy. The real estate market's frothy right now, crazier than I've ever seen it in 24 years. But we all see the downturn coming. We're starting to hear the whispers. It's happening right now. And the mom's house value proposition only gets stronger when the downturn comes. And then the 10th reason there is the size of this market. We're talking about 74 million seniors over the age of 65. As they move into senior living, they're going to be selling their house pre-probate. That's why this is called a pre-probate flashpoint system. They haven't passed away. Usually dad's passed away, but mom is the one still in the house, and she's getting ready to move into senior living. Why is it called mom's house? We haven't said this yet, but 7 out of 8 or 1 out of 8 in senior living is a man, and the other 7 are females, moms. And so even if dad is the one that's still alive, you'll hear families say, what are we going to do with mom's house? Because our mothers are that important to us, and they usually ruled the house. And so that is why it's called that. And so those are the 10 reasons, guys. If you can match a better lead source than these 10, I can't wait to hear it, because I've been in this industry a long time and I've not found it yet. So thank you for letting me go through those 10. What does it mean to build this business? I do about 40 deals a year that come directly to me. My average profits are around $20,000. You can do that math on that. And I don't have a marketing budget. So I hear some people say, they do pay-per-click and they pay $7,000 per contract. Well, if you're making $7,000 per contract, or you're costing $7,000 per contract, and your average profit's $15,000, well, then that means you have a partner named Google that takes half of your money because of the cost to acquire that contract. So ask yourself this question: what would an extra 1 or 2 deals a month that had no marketing budget attached to them, what would that do for your life? And so one of my favorite sayings here is, don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it. You can use that for just about anything in life, but things change, guys. I used to do Yellow Pages marketing and Pizza Top Box marketing, all these other types of marketing, but things change, and I don't continue to do the same things when I find something better. And so you can stop making this real estate business so hard by making your marketing budget drive down to zero, to work in a lead source where you'll be the only one working those leads, and to be proud of your business. I want you to really think of the fulfillment side and building a business that that you're going to be happy to tell everyone what you do. If you're doing cold calling and text message blasting and bandit signs, are you really out there telling everybody about what you do, or do you kind of keep that a secret, right? It's something with the Mom's House program, it's something you can build that's sustainable and certain. And so that's the exciting part about this. Years ago, guys, I was lost. Back in 2011, I was doing this wrong. I was spending a ton of money on marketing, and I just thought that there had to be a better way. And so I went out and kept beating my head against the wall. to try to learn this senior living business. I did it wrong because I showed up as an investor and a real estate agent, and that was not the right way to do it. And so this Mom's House program is big returns for a small effort. I have this Life by Design. It's my family there, my wife Melissa and my 2 sons. Today's their last day of school, so I'm sure they're giddy by now, and even our dog Vinny. And so I get a lot of time. My real estate business takes about 10 hours, 5 to 10 hours of my work week. So this is basically a part-time job, and I already told you what my average profit is times 40 deals a year. You can do that math. I'm a very well-paid, happy person, and so I want to share with you guys how you can build a life like this as well. And so as we go into day 2, tomorrow what we're going to learn about, guys, is daughter Judy, what they're going through. It's way more than you realize. The who is the people in that 20 is plenty list. For everybody that's part of the VIP, we're going to jump over to the Zoom link here in a minute, in about, I would say, 5 minutes here. Yep. And we're going to pick somebody out of the audio. Go ahead, Ryan. You want to?
Oh, yeah. Nope. Yeah. Day 2 is super important. Obviously, you guys have stuck around. You see the value. I hope you see the value in this and what you can do for the senior living industry, what you can do for your life and for your business and for your time. And day 2 is really we're going to talk more about how you actually do this. You know, who do we talk to? What are the key players? How do we talk to daughter Judy? What are some strategy behind this? So definitely show up for day 2. It's really important. We got some good surprises in there as well. Yeah, we're about to jump. We just ran over in the hour, so we're going to jump over to the VIP call here pretty soon. So if you see it waiting to enter the room, just don't worry, you're in the right spot. We'll let you in a moment.
And so they already have that email to them, Ryan, anybody in VIP?
As soon as you signed up, you had that link. If you don't, email info@momshouse.com if you're having some troubles, and we'll help you out.
And check your spam filters. A lot of people say it went to my spam, so check that as well. We'll see you guys there on the Zoom. Thank you guys for day 1. Tomorrow is the who and daughter Judy, and then day 3 is the how. And so thank you guys for being here, and I'll see all the VIP members over on the Zoom in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, about 5 minutes. Yep. Thank you, everybody.
See you tomorrow, guys.